Hey guys, this is FPL Tips and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League live stream. I don't see a lot of people on the live chat right now, but we'll wait for a couple of more minutes and then we'll start with the stream. Okay, so we have a couple of people, so we'll start. Hi, Brimat. Uh, It's good to have you on the live stream. We're waiting for a couple of new people, but I think we can start. I'll start with the basic injury update and Manchester United lineups that I have. So first things first. From Burnley, we have Wood out. We have uh, and we have Barnes out, and Goodmundson I think is also out. So three injuries from Burnley. From Crystal Palace, Kelly is out. Sloop is out for sure. Then from City, we didn't except for Gracia. There's no more injuries, but I think the Sane debate is still on. A lot of people DM me on Instagram. You think will Sane play? I don't think he'll play a lot of minutes. Maybe a couple of minutes because Sane is still essential for the Champions League. I hope my audio and video is clear, guys. Whoever is watching, please mention it in the live chat if you can hear me clearly, because there's not a lot of response in the live chat. So just confirm if you guys can see me and hear me clearly. I think there's a problem with my chat itself. Maybe. Okay. Nevertheless, we'll move on. Then Fraser is out for Bournemouth. I think that's a good thing for the people who are owning Crystal Palace defenders like me. I have Ward, and I think he might feature, and they might even get a clean sheet. Uh, Everton said that a couple of their midfielders, including Theo Walcott, is out for the match. They have otherwise a good team. Manchester United said that Pogba will not possibly start. He'll get some minutes, but not a start as of now. Rashford is looking fit and might start as well. So those are the major team reports I have. I'll tell you the league lineup I have for United for tonight. So it's David De Gea, Aaron Van Bissaka, Shaw, Maguire, and Lindelof. So they are apparently playing 3-5-2. It feels because we have Van Bissaka, Shaw, Maguire, Lindelof, Williams. All of them playing, and Shaw is playing at the centre back role. In midfield, we have Fred, Bruno, McTominay, and up ahead we have Marshall and Rashford. So that's the team for Manchester United for tonight against Spurs. Okay, so how's your game week going, guys? My game week is going pretty well. I have 68 points. We have a lot of players left to start. We have 15 players to still play. So yeah, decent game week till now. And tonight I just have Cantwell playing for me. So we'll get the lineup as well in a couple of minutes. So you might as well get those players. You'll get to know if those players are playing or not. Okay, moving on directly to the wildcard draft and free hit drafts. I have a particular structure we've decided for this stream, so we'll stick to that. The first thing we've covered is injuries. Now, a couple of people who asked me that whether they should free hit first or wildcard first. There are a lot of strategies around it, and I think going wildcard first is much better because there is still a lot of players who haven't played this game week. There could be a lot of injuries, so going into free hit in the very next game week could be could backfire because you are not sure which player is in form, which is not. He might play, he might not start because of injuries. So rather than going directly hitting free hit, maybe wildcard is a better alternative. You can free hit in game week 32 as well. If Liverpool win the title, you can just free hit then, and then you can go without City and Liverpool players to attack the rest of the matches. Others say Spurs will beat United today. I think Spurs have a record and they have never lost to United at home. So yes, I think Spurs should beat United. My personal prediction would be 2-1. So let's hope for that. I think it should be a good match. Okay, so if you guys have any other questions apart from the Instagram ones, you can put it in the live chat. We'll be discussing that as well. I'll just clear up uh, the team till then. To me, it's showing zero people watching. Are you guys there? I'm not still sure because on my screen it's showing zero people watching at the moment. So if you guys can see, the total squad value is 100.4. So it's more or less going to be applicable to almost all the squads. You guys can hear me, right? So yeah, we're going in with a budget of 100 million. That's pretty much like starting FPL altogether. So I have a couple of essential players that you should aim for the next couple of game weeks. So we're going to target teams which have easy fixtures. These teams include Wolves, Manchester United, Spurs, City after game week 32, and Chelsea up till game week 36. So these are the five teams which we will target the most, and a couple of players here and there. And in keeper, I think I'm going to go Burnley because they have a mixture of fixtures. They have tough as well as easy fixtures, and Pope has been great in the goal. I would have gone Henderson, but Henderson also has a couple of tough fixtures. So I'm not sure if I want to spend those extra zero point 0.4 million there. So Pope in goal, and obviously we'll have the 3.9 keeper over there. So I'm just leaving it blank. In defense, I think I'm going to get a Sheffield United defender. I'm getting Egan now because, as per the reports, John O'Connell is not injured for long term. Initially, we were percepting that he might be out for the season, but that is not the case. Wilder has also said that he might be available to feature on Sunday's match. Even Fleck is available, I think. So we'll have to see if he's back and if he does not get injured again. I think Robinson is out for us because there's no point. I don't think he'll start. So Egan is a safe pick. Egan goes into the draft. I think specifically going for a Manchester United defender, I would go for Van Bissaka. I'm going Van Bissaka over Maguire. I know Maguire has that goal threat, but I'm going Van Bissaka over Maguire only because of the assist threat and bonus points. Van Bissaka has a hell lot of tackles and he is always on the bonus points sheet. So I think having him in your team is an edge over Maguire or Shaw. Another thing which you can do if you're playing free hit is that watch out for Manchester United's next game against Brighton. If William starts that game as well, we're predicting him to start today as well. If he starts that game as well, you could go to Williams. He's 4.1, he's cheap and he's going to play out of position. Shaw might take the centre back role as we can see in the sheets. So Williams could be a good option. You'll save a lot of money there as well. I think Cias is going to be in my team. I'm going to restore him. We need a defender from Wolves. And there are two spots left. So I'm going to play with 3-4-3. I'm going to fill these two spots with budget enablers, mostly players like Justin from Leicester. And if I want to go big, I'll go for a. If you have the budget, you can go for a Trent Alexander or Van Dyke, but I don't have the budget, so I might go to Gomez at the maximum. But at the moment, I'm not taking them into my team because I am not sure if they'll start or not, or if they'll get minutes or they'll be rotated or something like that. So you'll have to look out for that. But at the moment, they're not in my team. So Justin stays in my team. Now coming to the midfield and attack, I think Fernandez is an essential. You got to own Fernandez. He he's playing amazing. If you have budget problems, you could go for Marshall. But I think if I want to rate players from Manchester United on the hierarchy of who should you own, I think Fernandes is on the top of my list. Then comes Rashford, then Marshall, and then Van Bissaka. Gomez should get minutes. I think Nathaniel Klein is still injured. I think he'll still get minutes. But the point is that uh, will Liverpool keep clean sheets if most of their back line is rotated? He could be rotated, but the chances of him getting rotated are less. But without Trent and Robertson, will they keep the clean sheets as they used to do before? That's going to be a question. I forgot mentioning Liverpool players. Robertson and Salah did not train last day before yesterday and yesterday, so there's still a doubt. Klopp, although in the press conference, came out and said that we have a fully fit squad and we have all players are in contention for Sunday's game, but I don't think Robertson specifically will start. He might get benched. With Salah, we're still unsure, but they have a training session today as well, so that must clear it out if he is going to start or not. Uh, so from Manchester United, as said before, we have Bruno Fernandes. He's top of my list. Then from Spurs, we have Heung-min Son. I think Son over Kane is a better option. He's in midfield. He scored a lot of goals and provided a lot of assists. If you see Kane's stat, on the other hand, he's not been in form. Also, he's just back from injury, so I think he'll take a couple of games to come back to form. Sun, on the other hand, is also cheaper than Kane. He's 1.1 million cheaper than Kane. So that will allow you to shuffle around with your formation. You can go 3-5-2, you can go 3-4-3, depending on your budget. So I think Sun is a better pick. There we have Kevin De Bruyne now. The only player I think I'll own from City is Kevin De Bruyne. He's a definite starter. He has the least rotation risk, I must say. And if you want to own someone from City, I think these are the two check boxes you want to tick. Chester says my mid is totally same with yours. Are you talking about the mid on the live stream right now or the team we had in game week 30 plus? Well, if you have these players, it's amazing because these are the go-to players from each team. Now there are two spots to fill. It depends on what formation you're going. If you're going 3-5-2, I would fill them with Barnes because then I don't want to RD in my team. And we'll have to look for a fifth budget enabler in the team. Although I think I'm going to go 3-4-3. So I'm pretty sure about my attackers. I want Jimenez in my team. I think over a period, Abraham has good fixtures from game week 33 to game week 36. But also, Watford have good fixtures around that period as well. So if you want to, you can shuffle around Deeney and Abraham as well. Because I think Watford is the only team who will come out of the relegation zone and will sustain a place in the Premier League. YOLO Gamer HD, hi. He says, why not Rashford or Marshall? I think Marshall is an option for me. Rashford is not in my team because uh, particularly I might play 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, and I have other forward options I want in my team. Specifically like Vardy, I want Vardy in my team. I want Jimenez, and I'm also looking at Abraham or Calvert-Lewin in my team. So that essentially takes up all the places in the forwards. If not Jimenez, I'll go for Yota because of the budget constraint clearly I have. But I want a Wolves attacker in the team. Chester says De Bruyne or Sterling because I think Sterling will score more. I'm not sure if he'll score more than De Bruyne. I think De Bruyne is more consistent than Sterling. He's much more cheaper, and Sterling will be rotated. With the five substitution, Pep has come out and said that he'll use those substitutions very cleverly, and he'll use it definitely in each game. So we know for sure we have options on the wings for City, and De Bruyne is more likely to play 70 minutes all the matches. So I think De Bruyne is a much more safer pick if we're talking in terms of rotation as well as budget and scoring. Okay, guys, moving on. I think Jimenez would not fit in my budget. I think if you have the budget, go for Jimenez definitely. But I think I'll have to go Yota with my wildcard draft. Oh, I forgot in the midfield. I'm going to keep Mane. Yeah, I think Mane over Salah only because of the injury concerns Salah has right now. Eventually we'll have the point 0.2 million budget buffer and we'll fill up that gap. So for me, it's Mane right now. But if I get a chance and if I know that Salah is fit for sure, I'll go for Salah. Yolo Gamer says, why are people free hitting for game week 31? Essentially because there is a perception that Liverpool might win the title in game week 31. So just tripling up on Liverpool players, then you have Leicester playing Brighton, so getting those players. Uh, West Ham play Tottenham. Tottenham players are also essential in the game week. Although I think Manchester United play Sheffield United, if I'm not wrong. That fixture seems a bit odd to me because I don't think Manchester United, even though the attack they have, will score a lot of goals. They scored three in the last fixture, but I think Sheffield United were much more defensively decent. Although we have to consider the fact that Henderson will not be playing that game. Henderson in the last match was just flawless. He made those saves look so easy, and he did get points for that too. But more or less, I think it's because of the easy fixtures, and then also because of the fact that they have a lot of City players loaded up in their team, City and Sheffield United players. So just to get rid of them for one game week and then filling in players like in for the likes of Son, Kane, Jimenez, Mane, Trent, and all of those players for one game week. Although there could be a possibility where Everton draw or win against Liverpool this Sunday. So before deciding or hitting free hit or wild card, I would suggest you to make unlimited transfer taking hits. So as if you joined early, you would have seen that I had made four changes to my team. I have a hit of -12 at the moment. So it doesn't matter how many minus hits you're taking because essentially, if you play the free hit or wild card later in the later stages of the game, all those hits will be nullified. So instead of just going particularly in the direction of free hit or wild card, I would just say make a team. If you're sure you're gonna play wild card or free hit, just make transfers taking hits. And after the injuries and forms and all of that, you can decide which way you want to go. You want to go free hit or wild card. Varun says Doherty. His first question is Doherty. I do not have the budget. We started the stream by saying that I have a budget of 100.4 million. That's really bad. I did leave a couple of players for rank pushing. That did help, but the budget is lost. So we're going without Doherty. Are you free hitting this game? I was initially planning to free hit, but then I later realized that I would like to go with the wildcard team this game week and then free hit maybe game week 32. Varun says Justin tough fixtures. Yes, Justin's tough fixtures. He's just a bench labor for my team and Egan too. We're gonna have a player with rotation. So I think Sheffield and Leicester go good for rotation. They have good fixtures when the other one has a tough fixture. So we could rotate them. I'm going with the formation of 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. So I think essentially I'm just looking at two clean sheets and one enabler in my team. Okay, so the team looks like this. Yota fits in. We'll have to fit these three positions. I think instead of Cantwell, I'm going for Saka. If you guys have watched last match, Saka was playing on the right. He looked much more better playing on the right, and he was also on indirect set pieces and also on corners. So if he's starting regularly, I think Saka is a good bench filler. If you're not playing if you're playing 3-5-2, I think Nikitia is a good bench filler for the forward. So if you go, Arsenal do have good fixtures, but I don't think Aubameyang is worth the price. If you saw the match, he was playing on the left, did not have a lot of touches, did not get the ball too many times. We could also make a case, an exception case because they were playing City, but I think it's still a weak performance. Bottom line being bottom line, I don't think I would like to invest 11 millions in an attacker who's playing on the left wing and has very less touches in the game. So for me, it's going to be Saka from Arsenal. So we just put him in the team. Also managers who are owning Ozil. There's a bit of a bad news. I think Ozil will not start the second game as well. Okay, guys, there's about 10 minutes left for the lineups for Norwich and Southampton. So we'll get that too. Okay, Varun. We just complete what my draft looks like at the moment, and then we look at other possible drafts. So I think we'll put Lascelles here. I think he's 4.3 and he's a good budget enabler. He's one of the cheap defenders who's definitely going to play and can also score points if you want. So he goes into my team. We have three players to fit in. I think we'll fit in a good, strong attacker and a cheap attacker. So I think I'm go Vardy. If what the thing with my formation now is I'll have to look at for Vardy, especially the Leicester match is very important to my team. In regards to my team, because if Vardy plays well and he performs good, Vardy will get into my team and I will look at a cheaper attacker then. If not, I'll keep Barnes and then no Vardy in my team. Yes, Chester. Justin will get same minutes as Soyanju. I think I had lineups for Leicester as well. Barnes is starting. I know Justin is starting. Perret is not starting. We knew Vardy was starting. Madison was starting. There was no news on Perez as well. So I had lineups on Leicester as well, but I think I did not post it on Instagram, and it slipped out of my mind as well because the match was way too late. And anyways, it won't matter a lot if the player is playing now or not. So, but nevertheless, the people who are owning Barnes, it might be good news for you guys because I think Barnes will play. Also, people owning Fleck, yes, that's a good news for you guys too because Fleck might start. Varun says with my team and Kane, I have 3 million in the bank. If you getting Kane, I think if you're playing free hit for game week 31 plus, then Kane and Son both is a good pick because then I think Tottenham will smash West Ham really badly, and Kane has a great record against West Ham. Can you look at the team in the stream and look for potential transfers option? Eurogamer, can you send? Can you type maybe send or send your team on the chat? Maybe then we'll or just maybe tell us your team. We'll put it on the draft. Because that's what we're going to do here. We're going to put in players which you guys want or which you guys are aiming at, and then we can build a good team together. Okay, so we have two positions left. I think Vardy is my first option. So we have around 5.9 million left. That's the budget we have. We'll have to fit someone. Now, a good news here is if Williams is a regular starter for United, I think I'm going to go downgrading Van Bissaka to Williams for the clean sheet, and I'm going to play a good attacker there. So we'll just try doing that once. We have Manav on the live stream. Hi Manav, it's good to have you. William, sorry, it's 4.2, it's not 4.1. So we have 7 million in the bank. Now I can get Dominic Calvert Lewin, likes of Pookie, Ings, maybe if he drops in price. So for now, I'm going to put Dominic Calvert Lewin. So that essentially looks like a budget draft to me for Wildcard. Obviously, you guys would have a lot of value in players and not a lot of more budget. So you guys can obviously upgrade Yota to Jimenez, maybe Villains. You might get Van Bissaka. You will obviously have Trent in your teams. So that's another point to look out for. Don't look at this draft as the final draft and you'll be able to only pick these people because my budget is way too small than most of the players. It's only 100 million, and most of the managers have a budget around 103 million. So those 3 millions will help you anyways. Mana says get Cantwell for Saka. I just explained why Saka is essential. Not essential, but a good budget filler because Arsenal do have good fixtures, and Saka at 4.7 million is a good enabler if he's playing out of position in the midfield. Actually, not out of position, but in the midfield and is on indirect free kicks and corners. Is Son good and Kane good? Both of them for game week 31, particularly, yes, not game week 32. I think against Sheffield it's going to be a poor performance. And out of the two, I think Son is better. Varun says not a fan of Justin and Vardy bad fixtures. Sar says out. He says Sar is out of position. Exactly. I'm not sure if I'm going to put Vardy. It's not the final draft. I might just go Vardy to Barnes, and I'll have to pick another midfielder or Mount. I think Barnes is a better pick because then you essentially can go to Mount as well, and we have 8.7 million. So we might just slip in Rashford. Okay, no, we're zero point 0.1 million less, but we might just adjust it, downgrading Lascelles. So we have a chance that we might go with this draft as well. The entire Vardy and Barnes thing depends on how Leicester play. Mana says Norwich is in relegation. Yes, I think Norwich will get relegated, but we'll be clear much more. We'll have a much more clear picture when we see the lineups today and how they perform today. One game week Kane and then downgrade to Tammy next game week. That's a good option, but I think you'll have to take a minus hit. I'm not. I initially even I was planning to go free hit this game week and then take a minus hit next game week, and then wildcard in game week 33. But the problem with that strategy is that you might lose a lot of rank because there are not many managers are playing the game right at this moment. So taking a -4 will drop your rank drastically. So if you're a player or a manager who's looking to increase rank, taking hits at this moment of this game and this stage of the game is not going to be a right option. If without hits you're getting a good team and you're using making the most out of it, it's good. But if with hits, if you're taking hits or compared to take hits, I don't think it's the best strategy to go about. Yolo Gamer says my team for game week 31 plus without making any changes is McCarthy, Cias, Trent, Fernandez, Barnes, Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Grealish, Aguero, Yota, Oba. Bench is Lundstrom, Henderson, Lewis, Cahill. Okay, you're a Lewis owner. I'm really sorry. I'll have to mention that. If you played Ben Boost, you have -3. And Lewis did horribly. I think you should have removed him. I have wildcard and free hit. What are your plans, YOLO Gamer, for the next couple of game weeks? Chester says, what is your prediction on Chelsea versus Man City? Who do you think will score? I think both will score. We've seen this in the past. I've looked at the Man City record. When they have a cluster of fixtures, they tend to lose a lot of games. So this happened before against Liverpool, against Tottenham, against Manchester City, United. So I think they might even lose to Chelsea. So we'll have to look on how they cope up. Usually, City do not cope up that well with with clustering of fixtures. So that might be a case as well. Mana says Mount or Barnes. Who do you expect to give more points? I think Barnes will give you more points. With Mount, we know there are a lot of rotation possible there. Loftus Cheek is mostly going to start this game and the next game as well. Mount will be definitely rotated. We also have Barkley to fill that position. So a lot of options out there. Okay, guys, I'll take a minute and I'll just announce the lineups. I have the lineups. So we have Tim Krul for Norwich in goal, Max Aarons, Ben Godfrey, Tim Close, Jamal Lewis, Alexander Tete, Kenny McLean, Bundia, Duda, Cantwell, and Timu Puki. So if you go guys own Duda, Cantwell, or Puki, those players are starting. For Southampton, it's pretty much the same team. We have McCarthy, we have Bertrand, Bednarek, we have Stephens, Jan Valery is inclusion. Stuart Armstrong, James Ward-Prowse, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Nathan Redmond, Danny Ings, and Michael Obafemi. I think Southampton is a much more stronger team. I think the scoreline is going to be 2-1 to Southampton. But at least my player is starting. At least Cantwell is starting. So that's a good news at the very least. Manav, I think I've answered Barnes will score more. A YOLO gamer, that Lewis was Douglas Lewis, not Arsenal. Thank God that Lewis was not Douglas. That was not David Lewis from Arsenal. Fun fact, Varun says Aguero managed twice as many big chances shot inside the box. Courtesy to big man Bucker, if you know that fact and you know the shots inside the box were greater than Aubameyang managed to record in 90 minutes. If you guys were on the live stream or if you had sent me your teams through DMs on Instagram, you might be knowing that I've already predicted that Aubameyang will not score as many as goals as Aguero would in 90 minutes, even though he'll play the entirety of 180 minutes. I have said it multiple times. People DM me, should they take Arsenal players? And I said that Arsenal will not score a lot of goals. Arsenal is not in that form. Aubameyang is still a waste of 11.1 million. People who listened and people who did change that are still benefiting, but the people who are stuck to it hope that he scores the goal, at least a goal against Brighton, but it's going to be tough. Yes, Varun says Sheffield United Loney Mohammad Besic is returned to everything. I don't think it's a major return because he anyways was starting for Lundstrom. I think Burge is their issue. If Flex starts, I don't think Robinson has an issue, but if Flex starts, maybe Burge around him. So that would be a bad thing for Lundstrom. Manav says, what about Richarlison? He is in the dream team. Richarlison is 8.3 million. I think we had this constant debate of Richarlison versus Calvert-Lewin, and I think Calvert-Lewin stood out by his performance. If you want to pick one, I would go with Calvert-Lewin, just like I have in my team right now. Okay, which players do you want to include in the draft? What is your opinion? Should we make the free hit draft now, or should we make a wildcard draft given by you guys right now? Okay, very less people watching right now. It still shows 0-2. Varun says, wow, wild card. Okay. So, which players do you want to get? For me, I've already mentioned, I think I'll just put in the essential players from my side for the rest of the season. Uh, I don't think Liverpool is an essential. I think, yes, Jota or Jimenez is essential. So, we'll just put Jimenez instead of Jota to just avoid confusion. So, if you look at the draft, we have 8 players on the draft right now. I think these 8 players, not Williams, but a United defender, but these 9 players, sorry, these 9 players are essential. These are the players I think are very essential. They should be in a draft. Rashford, maybe, maybe not, but doubling up on United attack if they go well is not bad option. It's not a bad option. So De Bruyne is definitely essential. Jimenez is essential. Son is essential. A defender from Wolves or defender from United is essential. Keeper you can change, but according to me, Pope will still provide the best points for the rest of the season. Fernandes is still essential. He's on penalties. I think he's going to play attacking, and Pogba will play the defensive role. So that's there. And yeah, that's about it. That's the essential draft you want to look at. Notorious Nerd says best captain for game week 31 plus. I think the best captain, looking at the fixtures, is Son or Kane, but I don't think Kane will be that much form. But Son or Kane. Chester says why CS? It's not CS. You can go Doherty if you have the funds, but I do not have the funds. Hence, I'm going CS. It's essentially the Wolves defender you have to aim for. Varun says Kane, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Jimenez is the best trio. We'll try to fit in that trio. But if you're going Kane, I don't think going Sun is a wise thing. But also that Kane is much more expensive than Sun. He says Sun, Fernandez, Marshall, and 4.2. So you're going without the City players. Why City players are essential because especially De Bruyne because he's going to start most of the games. And City have a great run of fixtures. If you look at the fixture list beyond game week 32, after they play Liverpool, they have a great, very sweet run, and I think they will capitalize on it. Even if they do not play with the full strength, I don't think Pep is a manager who will just be like give his youngster or the young team more chances and players. He'll give his essential players the start because moreover, you want your players to come back to form. That's another reason I think Sterling will start the second game because you want your main players to come back to form because the Champions League is still a glory they want, and that's what they're aiming for. That's what they have got to play for. And I think he'd want all his players to be fit and in form. Match time is essential to be fit, if you're talking about that. Will Wolves get a clean sheet for the rest of the match? For the rest of the match, I think you mean the rest of the season. They have a great run of fixtures. I think against Bournemouth, they might keep a clean sheet. West Ham, potential clean sheet. So, and a couple of fixtures ahead as well. I think they do not face a big side until game week 35 or 36. So, you're looking at at least 3 clean sheets there. Notorious Nerd says best 3 Wolves pick. I have Doherty and Jimenez. Best 3 would be Jimenez, Jota, and Doherty. Best 3. What? So, okay. So according to Arun, this looks like an essential team. I would say go only one is instead of Kane or Son. I think Son is a better pick. that allows you to get Dini, Abraham, Ings, maybe Pookie in your team. Maybe just double up on the Wolves defense. So Wolves attack, sorry, and you can play around with the third spot in your team. Aisin says Greenwood or Nketiah. I think Nketiah is a better player. I think he looked really sharp. He had a couple of chances to score goals, and I think Nketiah will continue to start. He will start against Brighton, and he will continue to start for the rest of the season. So even if you're looking for a bench option or a regular starter, Nketiah is a good option. We can consider Nketiah. Actually, we can make a draft around him and play 3-5-2. And if your third attacker has does not have great fixtures, then you can play Nketiah. I think Liverpool defense is good for the free hits. Yes, I think if you're free hitting we'll do a free hit draft nevertheless in the stream ahead. But if you're doing free hit in game week 31 plus, going without a, a Liverpool attacker is not a bad idea. You hear me out because Crystal will defend deep. You'll understand how Crystal plays in a couple of days, how they're looking in terms of form, and they will defend deep. In previous matches, in previous meetings, we've seen that Crystal at max will consider a couple of goals at the max, and that is something is that's not something you vouch for at 12.3 minutes. It's not necessary. You can go for someone who you think might score. So instead of getting Mane in your free team, getting Kane plus Son is a better option. Do you think De Bruyne will get benched the next game week or the next game week? He will get benched in one game week, that's for sure. I think he'll get benched the next game week because I think Pep just opened out and said that he's going to play Phil Foden in the next match. So if you're looking Phil Foden in place of De Bruyne, that could be a case, or Phil Foden could play in places of David Silva as well. But usually Pep does bench Kevin De Bruyne when the matches get tight, and what I have predicted is I'm predicting actually is that he'll get benched against Chelsea. Maybe. Let's see how it goes. It entirely depends on how many minutes does he play against Burnley. Because last match he played 70 odd minutes, and those were enough. I think 70 odd minutes. When you play 70 odd minutes, 2 days time is ample to get recover and start again. Okay, I think there's a slight change in the lineups for Norwich. I think Duda has maybe picked up an injury, or the manager has decided to make a last minute change. But I think Duda is going on bench and Drimich is starting on the left flank. So it's going to be a 4-4-2 for Norwich and Cantwell in the mid and Drimich up ahead with Pookie. Notorious Nerd says Duda was a popular pick. I think yes, he was a popular pick, but we still went with Cantwell, so we're still good about it. So we're still securing 2 points. Hopefully, we do not know 2 points for sure, but hopefully 2 points. Okay, so we'll just complete this draft. We need a Liverpool defender for sure. I think I'm going to go Van Dijk because he's cheaper than both Trent and Robertson. So that's the aim. With 15 million, we can fill this with a bench filler. I think Cantwell is still good. Or Saka, both of them are 4.7. A cheap defender. Kelly is injured, so you don't want to get Kelly. I think Lascelles is still the best option in that range. Cathcart is also good. Cathcart is decent if you want a Watford bench option. Do you think Aguero, Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez will play the next match? Aguero for sure. I think he'll play the next match. Kevin De Bruyne mostly. With Mahrez, it's still unknown because we do not know where Phil Foden will start. Dion says, "Yeah, that stings. Norwich playing 4-4-2. Norwich does not play a lot of 4-4-2. As of what I've seen them and their matches. Notorious Nurses, Saka or Nikita, who's better pick? Saka did play in the midfield. I think Nikita is a better pick. He was really sharp. He's fast. He's on the ball almost all the time. So even he's an option even I'm looking at if I'm playing 3-5-2. So if I go 3-5-2 and I have Kane or maybe someone up ahead along with Jimenez, Nikita is going to be my bench filler. Okay, so we have 6.8 million to fill this position. I think we'll go Doherty instead of Cias. So we have Jimenez and Doherty both. And 5.1, I think it's not necessary, but we'll take Van Bissaka and then downgrade Doherty whenever needed. So if 4 million, you can fill the 4 million with a 3.9 million or a 4 million defender. You can downgrade Doherty and get a fourth defender. It's up to you. But this essentially looks like a good wildcard draft aimed at game week 31 fixtures, where you have double up on Spurs, you have a Wolves attacker, you have Leicester, you have Everton playing Norwich, you have that fixture as well. You have Manchester playing Sheffield, that fixture is covered as well, and you have a defender from uh, Liverpool. I think a better move to do here. Let me tell you guys. If you guys are planning to free hit, I think this is something you might want to do. Get Allison, get Van Dijk, get Cias, and a 4.4 maybe Taylor or just a bench filler. Why not 10? Notorious not, we've been saying this all. My budget is way lower than the average budget you guys might be having. So there's nothing like that be picking Van Dijk over Trent due to statistic or tactical reasons. It's just due to the budget. So if you have the budget for Trent, if you can fit him, go for Trent, no problem. Personally, I would have gone for Trent or Doherty if I had the budget. De Jong says I choose Sterling over De Bruyne. I could pay off for this game week overall. I think I chose Sterling over De Bruyne as well. Uh, if he starts, fingers crossed, if De Jong, if he starts, I think he'll score another goal. Okay, so Mane or Salah, if you have to go for the rest of the season, I think I'll go Mane. With Salah, there's a lot of rumors with his injury and all of that. He did not train a couple of days ago as well. So going for the rest of the season, and I think Salah is more rotated than Mane. You see, he gets subbed off earlier than Mane. Mane usually plays more minutes and is naturally more fitter than Salah. If to go one for the season, I think it's going to be Mane. Eurogamer says, why not going Salah or Mane in game week 31? I specifically said that because I'm saying that because I don't think they'll score a lot of goals or they'll blast up against Crystal. I think their defensive assets would outscore them. So going defensive against Crystal in the free hit draft is much better. Okay, so we'll just complete a free hit draft for you guys since we just took the transition from wildcard to free hit. The blanks I'm leaving is for bench fillers. If you do not have the budget, fill them at 3.9 defenders. If you have the budget, then essentially fill in players you think might start, but I don't think there's a need when you're going free hit. So just put the players which just fill up the budget. That's it. So we're tackling 3-4-3. I think Calvert Lewin is still okay. And if you want, you guys can still maybe fit in Mane. Let's try Mane. 3 and this 4 and 3. Yes, if you want, you can still go Mane. So if you this is a free hit draft for game week 31 plus. The people who wanted the free hit draft, this is what it is. Go Allison, Van Dyke, and Mane or Salah, whoever you like. Go Doherty and Van Bissaka. So your defensive assets cover a lot of clean sheets, and I think all of them are potential clean sheets. Double attack on Spurs. Jimenez along with combined attack of Doherty looks like a good option. Calvert Lewin faces, I think, if I'm not wrong, Norwich. So that's a good option as well. If you don't want Calvert Lewin, I you could have gone for Vardy, but that's going to cost you a lot. So you'll either have to downgrade Kane or Vardy, or go Dominic Calvert Lewin. So you'll have to go Barnes or Kane, or go Vardy and then someone else. Any price changes or players tonight? I think I put up a story yesterday night on Son, Rashford, Bruno, Lascelles, and Kevin De Bruyne closest to the price raise, and they're still the closest players. So I think those are the players you'll have to look out for. That's a good option. Gomez partner to Van Dijk instead of Allison. You can do that as well. So essentially, you'll go 4-3-3. Then otherwise, because or else you'll have to remove Van Bissaka from a team. So you can just go Van Bissaka or okay. Actually, if you do Van Bissaka and David De Gea, I think we'll free up a lot of budget. Thanks, Notorious Nerd, for that suggestion. Guys, shout out to him. Actually, if you following me for a long while, I always had Gomez in my team instead of the other Liverpool defenders. That will allow you to get maybe just fit in Vardy. Okay, they're still short, and then maybe if you want a lot of Vardy, you can go for options like Martial. Okay, we're still short of money. We're still short of some money, but nevertheless, it's a good option. It's a good suggestion. If you guys maybe will be able to fit a 4.2 midfielder. So essentially, it's 3.3, 3.9, 3.9, and 4.2. But I don't think it's going to be possible. So Vardy will have to leave. I think going Barnes is a better option. So we have to fit 12 million here, and we do not have the budget clearly. You guys might have the budget because you might have a lot of value on Jimenez, a lot of value on players like De Bruyne and Mane, Salah, maybe Trent. So you guys might be able to fit them in your budget. But this looks like a draft. So we're aiming at attackers from Leicester, Tottenham. We're aiming attackers from City this game and game week or Liverpool. I would suggest going only on one attacking team. I think either City or the Liverpool that will allow you to make the best of the free hit. And we're looking at a Manchester United attacking asset. For defensive assets, we're looking at Wolves, Liverpool, and Manchester United. Those are the defensive assets. So this is a good draft for free hit. If you want, you can play around with the things. That was the essential thing, but then we'll have to downgrade someone, mate. But we have to still fill 3 places with 6.9 million. That's not possible. We need 12 million to fix that place. But nevertheless, it's a good draft if you're looking at it through the point of view of making the most out of your free hit because you guys will have a lot of budget. Mind you that this is my team and I have very less budget. You guys will have a lot of budget. So you guys might be able to get players like Jimenez and Mane and Kane and Cabot. Personally, I would not go double up on Spurs because I don't think they'll be that attacking, but it's still a good option. I think Vardy instead of Kane is a better pick. My draft would look like this, and I think it's going to be Marshall. I think in the free wildcard draft, I'll go for Marshall. I'll go for the upstake because his ownership is less. Captain, either Son or Vardy, both are good captains. You can captain De Bruyne as well. So this looks like a good draft. If you want budget, you can still downgrade Jimenez to Jota. You can downgrade Doherty to Cias. You can downgrade Davida to Pope maybe, and you can altogether leave Mane or De Bruyne. Notorious Nurse says exactly. Won't trust Spurs a lot. Varun says gotta go. Bye Varun. We'll do a couple of live streams before the deadline if possible. But essentially, if you guys have no, Chester, I think I'm gonna own Marshall. Marshall for the free hit, specifically free hit, is a good punt because his ownership is really low. And I am not sure of playing free hit only because of the reason also that we do not know how Pogba and Bruno are going to play together, how Marshall is going to play, how Rashford is. We are going too soon for form. I think wildcard hence is a better option because if you see they are in form and maybe you want to gimmick 32 is a good option too. You can just go without the City and Liverpool players if Liverpool have won the league, and if not, you can go with one Liverpool player and free hit then as well. So I think if you're asking my strategy, I would say go wild card and then go free hit. Save the free hit and do not play it in game week 31. But people have different strategies. It's complete to your opinion. But I think I've put up enough points to at least you can try and think what is your long term strategy. And I think if you're looking long term, wildcard is the better one. But nevertheless, we've discussed essential players, we've discussed the wildcard draft, we've discussed free hit strategies, we've discussed teams which have the best fixtures, and we've discussed the players from them. We can again do that if you want. The best fixtures were Wolves, Manchester United, City after game week 32, Spurs, and a bit of Arsenal, but I think Arsenal have bad form, and Chelsea. So players you want to own from these teams, from Wolves, I think Doherty, Jimenez, and Jota are the best ones. From Spurs, Aurier, Son, and Kane stand out for me. From Manchester United, a defender, be it Williams, be it Van Bissaka, I think these two are the best ones. In midfield from United, we have Martial and Fernandes, and Rashford up front. So these are the four players you might want to, five players you want to might attack from United. From City, the only good and essential player I would say is Kevin De Bruyne for the long term. Maybe Jesus if he starts very often, but that's still a risk. So Kevin De Bruyne from City. From Chelsea is going to be Pulisic if he gets a lot of minutes, or it's going to be Abraham for me. Also, Pedro has almost signed for Roma, and the move is on. So I think we'll get to see a lot of Pulisic minutes this game week as well. Did I miss out on any team? I think not. From Arsenal, I think going for the budget options is a much better choice. Leno is a good keeper. If you want to own Leno as a secondary keeper, it's a good choice. But if you want other players, then from Arsenal, going Saka or Nikita are the best options. That's what I said. If you want, I think taking Arsenal players as bench fillers. Saka and Nikita play good roles in that for the team. And if maybe your main team player is benched, then Saka and Nikita having good fixtures can fill up that void. So maybe attack the Arsenal players, Saka and Nikita, only as bench options, not as starting options, and you can attack the rest of the teams for their main fixtures. Other players that you might want to look out for is Temu Pukki. He has a good couple of fixtures, maybe a punt if you're taking free hit. Dominic Calvert-Lewin from Everton, I think he's over Richarlison. In my opinion, he's almost the same number of points. He is cheaper than him and plays in a much more attacking role. Dini and Sar to me are good options from Watford because but the Sar punt is that he did not he performed in one game week. He did not perform in consecutive game weeks. So we'll have to keep a lookout on how he performed this game week against Leicester. If he looks sharp, fast, and I think Sar is a good punt, but I'm still not sure about him. So Dini is a good option according to me from Watford, but the second option would be Sar. Any other team which has good fixtures? I think Crystal Palace bench filler defender is still good, but Kelly is injured. With Sheffield United, I would like to say don't go Lundstrom because there is a lot of chances he'll get rotated. He might start, might get rotated. He might start, he might get rotated in consecutive matches. So don't go Lundstrom. Maybe just go Egan. Players to avoid would be Bournemouth players. I don't think Bournemouth is going to do good. Brighton players, they're going to play a couple of matches, might even get close to relegation, so don't take those players. West Ham players are a complete avoid to me. They do perform good in matches. In certain matches, West Ham players like Antonio perform great, but there is still no consistency in them. Vardy fixtures are decent if his form is decent, but the thing with Vardy in the five substitute rule is that he'll get substituted too. So I'm just looking at this game week to see if Vardy is more lethal than Barnes. Because if Barnes is playing more minutes or even essentially the same amount of minutes and is as attacking as Vardy, I would like to own Barnes over Vardy. So that's the thing with Vardy. And avoid West Ham players, avoid Bournemouth players, I would say. Aston Villa, I think Grealish is playing deeper. So if you want an Aston Villa midfielder, go with for Buggin. Because in the last match we saw Aston Villa were decent attacking decent. Defensively was stable as well. But Muggin was playing much more forward than Grealish. Grealish dropped deep in the second half, did not attack a lot. So I think Muggin is a better pick than Grealish for the long term if you want them. Chelsea, I've already said. Tammy Abraham and Pulisic look good to me. What happened to Kelly? Kelly had a thigh injury and has another hamstring injury recently that he picked up, so it's going to be long for him. And I think he'll not be back. Even when he's back, I think he'll lose his place to Ward. Who will be top three Chelsea picks for the rest of the season? I think top three for me would be Mount, Tammy Abraham, and Pulisic. If you want a defensive player from Chelsea, I think Reece James is going to stand out for me. Alonso, I would have said Alonso, but I don't see him starting in the near future. So Tammy Abraham, Mount, Pulisic, and a defender, if you want, is James Reece. Chester sent something, but he retracted it. Okay, so I've discussed almost all teams. If I missed out on any team, if you want to know any other team players, so let me know. We're looking at the fixtures right now in game week 31. I hope Alonso starts this game. Have taken a punt on. I don't want to disappoint you, mate, but I don't think I've already said this on the live stream. How I feel Chelsea would line up would be uh, James Reese, Rudiger, maybe Christensen or Tomori. We're not sure because no, Tomori is in Zuma. Maybe Zuma. Tomori is injured. Sorry, Christensen or Zuma, and Aspilicueta on the left. In midfield, we have Kante, Kovacic, either of Mount or Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Up front, it's either Pulisic or Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So two out of the three will play the game. Tammy Abraham, Willian, and that's 4-3-3 for Chelsea. If they play 3-5-2, then we might see Alonso starting. But it's very there's a very slim chance of him starting. I made a mistake. I put Kelly on my team this week and play bench boost. Kelly is not starting, but I did mention it in the deadline stream. I think that Ward will start and Kelly won't. Yes, Alonso was starting in the last three games, but that was because Chelsea was playing 3-5-2. Now with the midfield option and the wing options we have, I think they might just go back to 4-3-3 like they were playing in the start of the season. Oisin says thoughts on Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Holgate for wildcard. Again, decent fixtures and cheap. I think defensively, Everton do not have decent fixtures. The fixtures against teams who are also fighting relegations at this moment of time, relegation teams tend to score a lot of goals. Like we saw Aston Villa yesterday were playing very good attackingly, although Henderson was way out of the league and Henderson made a lot of good saves. But otherwise, I think they would have scored. So, defender from Everton, a bench option maybe, but not a main team option. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin is still a good option for attack. Just I would like to see the draft for long term for the rest of season. Okay, we'll just make the last draft for the rest of the season. Well, actually, that's essentially my draft as well. So we just put it together quickly, and then we'll wrap up the stream. We have Pope. I think we have Lascelles. Van Dijk does not fit to my long-term plans. Cias or Doherty, depending on your budget. I am going with Cias only because I don't have budget. Justin for me makes it to the long-term team. A United defender makes it to the long-term team. I think I'm going Williams. I think he'll start. If he doesn't start, then we'll have to go Van Bissaka. But let's just be hoping that he starts a lot of games. So Williams is a good, and we'll put a bench filler there. Notorious nurses, but I think versus Everton they had played four at the back last game. So let's see what happens and what Lampard does. Yes, they did. Maybe they. I don't think they played four at the back. I think they played three at the back. But we had a lot of injuries back then, so the choices we had in team selection were very less. Although if Alonso starts, we can see a lot of goals and maybe an assist from Alonso in between those goals as well. Salah or Mane, long term, I think Mane with Salah, there's an injury concern at this moment. We'll get to know when they line up against Everton. But if you're looking at minutes played and injury concerns, I think Mane will outstand Salah. He's also in the long term team. So we do not have we have Marshall in the long term team. Jimenez, I think Jimenez would not fit. I think I'm going Iota. If you guys have the budget, go Jimenez. Definitely go Jimenez without a doubt. Vardy does not make it to my long term team. I think Barnes uh, makes it to my long term team. I think I'll go Nikitia with my budget team. Sorry, guys, just a second. Nikitia 4.4 million, good bench filler option. So I can upgrade. Sorry, wait a second. Where is Manchester United? Yeah. Okay, so we're looking at this as a long-term team. For someone who asked me what's my long-term plan or lots long-term wildcard team, so this is what it looks like. There are a couple of changes you can make. You can go Jimenez instead of Yota. We'll do that right now. If you have the make those changes if you have the budget. You can go Bard instead of Barnes if you have the budget. I think I'm going to put Abraham there. You have 6.2 million. You can go Doherty to see as you can bring in Gomez as a long-term option. Maybe Van Dijk if you have the budget. Van Dijk, I think, will play all the matches for the rest of the season. So it's a good option from Liverpool. Oisin says who's better, Rashford, Marshall, or Fernandez? In my opinion, it's Fernandez. I think, in my opinion, it entirely depends on how Fernandez plays when Pogba is on the field. It because it depends a lot. If the if Fernandez is playing deeper than Pogba, I think Martial Rashford is a better option. But if Fernandez is playing up front instead of Pogba, Fernandez stand out for me too. So okay, Chester, I hope you're fine with the draft. This is what the draft looks like to me. So you have 6.2 in the mill. I have 6.2 in the bank. You would have around 8 or 9 in the bank. You can upgrade Justin, you can upgrade Lascelles, you can upgrade your keeper, get a big defender. You can upgrade Mane to Salah, maybe Barnes to Mount is an option. Then Abraham to Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Dini is an option. Nikitia, if you want another upgrade, you can go Muse or IU. IU is a good option, but I think I'm going to stick to Nikitia. And essentially, this is the draft we're looking at. So I hope you guys like the draft and like the stream. Notorious now says nice stream. When is the next one? I think we keep asking the on Instagram when do we host the next stream. So it depends on what people say. So do follow us on Instagram and we'll stream regularly. I think the next stream might be on Sunday and there's definitely going to be a stream on Tuesday before the deadline. Which three new teams you are excited about the next season? I have not looked at the championship table. Sorry, mate. I think Leeds is one of them if they are qualifying till now. I have just heard about them, but I'm not sure about the teams. So we'll see about that later. Chester says I spend too much on defenders. My defender is Walker, Soyuncu, Van Dijk, Baldock, and Van Bissaka. I think Baldock to Egan is now a good option because I don't think Sheffield is going to keep a lot of clean sheets. That could be a downgrade. Van Dijk is decent. As I said, Van Dijk is going to start for the rest of the season. That's a decent pick. Walker, there's a lot of concern about his rotation in my mind because of Cancelo. But that could be a case, but it's still a good pick. Stones is going to start the next match. He had a small injury issue the last training session, hence he did not play against Arsenal. He is going to start the next match. He could be a long-term good option. Van Bissaka undoubtedly is a good option. He was my pick as well. But if I'm seeing Williams starting at 4.2 million each of the matches in a 3-5-2 position at the left wing back, I think Williams is a better pick. So essentially, this is the draft, guys. You can play around with the budget because you have more budget, but essentially, you want a Leicester player, you want Jimenez, you want a Chelsea player, maybe at some point of the time. Mane looks good, De Bruyne, Son looks great, Fernandes looks great. Uh, a Liverpool defender, a Wolves defender, and a Manchester United defender are essentials in my team, and in my opinion. The other options you have is Newcastle, Sheffield United, and Leicester. So, guys, that is it from my side. If you guys have any other last minute questions, you can ask me. I just said who to change from your defender. Maybe Van Dijk stays. Soyuncu to Justin if possible. Baldock to Egan if you want. Van Bissaka is good if Williams continue if you want a lot of budget Van Bissaka to William. I think instead of Walker, go to Mendy. Mendy was great last match. Mendy looked very sharp. He's fit back again. So instead of Walker, Mendy. That's something I forgot the last time I said it. Who should free hit this week and who should wildcard this week? If you have just free hit, then maybe you just want to free hit. If you have wildcard and free hit both, I think it's better to play wildcard. Look at how teams are performing and maybe free hit when City play Liverpool. There's no specific time. Also, there might be a chance that some game is postponed due to a calamity or some coronavirus thing. So you don't want your team blanking. So that is when your free hit will also be useful. So you might want to hold a free hit for a couple of more game weeks. There's no particular point or particular time to when to free hit or when to wildcard. It entirely depends on whom you're getting and how your team looks like. My team is going to be based on form and who's starting and who's playing where. So that is why I'm going to free hit later. So I think those are the last questions on the chat. Chester, I've answered your question who to change in your defense. Okay, guys, so I'll wrap it up here. It was a good live stream. If you guys liked the live stream and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. So this is it. This is FPL Tips signing off. Cheers.